mention when I was out here at first is that we are live tweeting. And so if you happen to be on your phone at any point in time and you're like, bitch is pulling shit out of her bra, you can put that on Twitter. Just put hashtag Ignite Denver and let the world know. So, or if you're inspired by rocket scientists, blah, blah. No, she's amazing, and that intimidates me. She's a smart girl, and she has amazingly smart children who are also in the audience who are okay with swearing, which is a bonus. Yep, yay, kids who swear, and kids who don't swear. I mean, really, I love kids. All right. If you want your kids to swear, just send them to me. My daughter's really good at it as well. Our next speaker is Vance Watt. One of the other fascinating questions that I asked the speakers was, what movie has everybody seen except you? And he said, anything after 2008. So he's got a wide collection of movies he hasn't seen. He did specify not even the new Star Wars. So I never saw the one with Jar Jar or the most recent one. Possibly not the one before that either. My husband is sad about this. As far as weird injuries, he once rode a bike into a parked car. Sounds like something I could do. And as a child, he lit a bush on fire in front of a courthouse. So that was a proud parent moment for his folks. Yeah. And last but not least, this one is both very fascinating and a little bit scary. Vance has been to Burning Man 8 times and is still alive to tell me about it. And I mean, he's gonna walk out here. He's not gonna fly out on a magic carpet, which is pretty impressive. So if you could please give a big round of applause for Vance. You are very welcome.
God damn it. I met my brother and his friend Greg in Nepal, and we were going to a city called Langtang, which is a beautiful village in a rustic setting with 20,000 feet peaks flanking it. The first day was beautiful. We were enjoying it. I didn't want to do anything amazing. I didn't want to get enlightened or anything. I just wanted to see the Himalayas and buy a t-shirt. We had breakfast at this tea house, and we spent a lot of time talking to people who had just returned from Langtang, and we spent maybe a couple hours just shooting the shit with them. It was really great. Then we got started. The great thing about this picture is the guy in red is carrying my pack. He also knew the way, so I would hike ahead and then wait for him to catch up with me. He was really great. Now the shit really hits the fan. We hear a vibration and a sound like a jackhammer, and then we just keep walking like nothing happened. Then a huge rumble, and in front of me I can see my brother, and it's looking like he's on jello at 2 to 3 feet high, and they're laughing. And about this time I realize I'm in a goddamn earthquake and scared shitless. Then we hear rocks coming from above, rolling down, hitting trees. It didn't take long before them to be going past us, and we spent quite a bit of time dodging rocks. It was terrifying. And then, what the fuck? This huge cloud was just coming down the valley towards us, and you could hear it snapping the top of trees off. I just ran and hid behind a rock, and this is what it looked like after it passed. When it went over, it was totally dark, and I was pretty sure I was going to die at this point. That's our porter there. This next picture is from up valley, and you can see the wind. A friend of mine was in this village, and it was totally destroyed by the wind. He jumped out of a window and somehow lived. It was amazing. Here we are going to the military checkpoint because we thought they might have a clue what to do. I mean, if you're in Nepal in the middle of nowhere, what do you do? They had food and communications. My brother broke his leg. I saw people stream in with all sorts of wounds. There were teenagers carrying their grandfathers and head wounds and things like that. It was pretty disturbing. Then that night, as we were sleeping, we heard a loud noise coming down the valley. My porter woke up and he said, "Water, water, water." And it got louder and louder and louder and passed us. And that was one of the other things is a flash flood to worry about. What happened was a big piece of ice broke off of this 24,000-foot peak and fell directly on Langtang after picking up a lot of debris. This is a before and after picture. The top one is before, bottom after. All the houses were crushed by the rocks, or the huge wind blast blew people away. I heard people that were there that actually saw loved ones just be blown to who knows where. Over 50 houses were destroyed, 10,000 trees were toppled, 310 people lost their life that day, including 80 foreigners. Here's where we camped. It was kind of a terrifying place to camp because there were hundreds of aftershocks. And every time there was an aftershock, a huge bunch of rocks would come down that cliff. Also, there was a lot of people that were suffering because they had lost loved ones in Langtang. Everybody did eventually get evacuated by helicopter. That was a pretty orderly boarding. Usually, it was a horde of people crowded around the helicopter. A year afterwards, they erected this monument, and they got all the trails open again, and there's now 50 tea houses that you can stay at in Langtang. One day I'd like to return and turn those prayer wheels. I think I pretty much used up all my luck with that particular trip. It could have gone much worse. We could have left the day earlier, like we had planned. We could have not dawdled around at the guest house and probably been having tea when the earthquake hit. That's my story. Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm proud to say that after 4 years of hosting Ignite, I learned how to use the mic stand this evening. I know. Did you see that? That was effortless. Thank you.